Hello everyone and welcome to a very special Pro Cosplayer Paints Minis tutorial video. I'm still kind of a bit new to the Warhammer scene and miniature scene. I've been a cosplayer for nearly 20 years now and won a couple awards for my cosplays. And I've finally got into tabletop gaming, more specifically Warhammer 40k last year. Since then, I've been doing a lot of stuff my own way, and I feel like I'm going to want to pass on this knowledge to anyone that this might actually help out with. I want to start off my first tutorial video with something, hopefully pretty simple, hopefully pretty generic. Everyone could use no matter the faction. This first tutorial video would be of how I magnetize my bases. And this is a really great method that's simple, cost-effective, and I could get out a whole army pretty fast. So what you'll need is a few things here. You'll need magnets. Sure, in other countries too, but in the US, you could get a stack of these, 200, 100, 200, for $6-7 off of Amazon, maybe eBay, maybe cheaper off of Temu or whatever. I don't know. I don't use those sites. File. I use a CA applicator for this, but you could easily use something like a toothpick or like a wood, throw away a kebab skewer or something. E6000, which is going to be our main adhesive. A glove. And unless you're working in a very ventilated area, because this stuff is technically a bit toxic. At least it smells bad. And of course, like any other project, you're gonna need some paper towels, bases. And I have here the current Astro Militarum Combat Patrol with the bases and some for some stealth suits. So I will be able to get all these magnetized in the matter of a few minutes. Even if it's gonna go fast on your end, I'm gonna do some speed up. It's still a very fast method to go here. So what we do is also before I begin, You'll probably want some sort of tray to put the bases in after they're glued on, and they won't like slide around. So I like using Yu-Gi-Oh tins because they've been very useful for storing. Yeah, if you have some sort of tin tray, maybe you have some sort of those cookies that have always have sewing kits in them. Then this or some other sort of tin thing, which I'm sure you probably have somewhere. If not, sure you have a friend who plays Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably has tons of these empty tins lying around somewhere. Okay, so like any other method I've seen for magnetizing is you go use your file and you start gouging the bottom of the bases. For longer ones and bigger ones, even though these are 10mm sized magnets we'll be using, larger bases still need a few. And with these, the bigger magnets, they're going nowhere on your trays. Alright, now that we're out of 2x speed, go ahead and just toss out these towels and grab some ones. I like to arrange these, which makes it easier. I seem to have an odd number of the 28mm bases. That's fine. Every now and then, Games Workshop does grant me a extra base in some of their kits. I'm gonna start with the stealth suits first. Alright, this is respirator on because we're about to put on E6000. We put on the gloves. Now we grab the bulk of our materials here. We no longer need this. We'll put that off to the side. I like having a little stump bag of just heavy to put the magnets on. Put it off to the side, make it nice and easy. Alright, so this is where tad bit trick here. I say that as if this whole thing isn't one trick. So I put about this much on, and then when I move to the next one, I just let the E6000 kind of drop on to the next base. So here I'm putting the magnet on, I'm putting it down, pressing it down. And what I'll do is I'll use the tip of this to kind of like move it around and encase it, the magnet inside the E6000. And typically this E6000 is a bit random. Sometimes it will just drop on the next one. Sometimes I have to push it on, and sometimes nothing comes out at all. But you know, just normal little squeeze. And there's never such thing as like too much E6000. So don't worry about being like conservative or whatnot with its use. Just plop it on. And I guess the last note before I do another fast forward is I've used both this and black or clear and black E6000 for this, and I think that for some reason I prefer the black E6000. I think it worked better or flowed better. But that's really just gonna come down to, I don't know. I don't think it really matters. Alright, fast forward time, because you get the idea at this point what I'm doing. Actually, so this is what I'm doing here, is I'm just flopping the bases onto the 10 tray already. And this way, they won't shift around, they won't like pop off, go on top of the other one, get this ice all gunked up with the other E6000 that's still curing. Alright, now it's time for fast forward. Now, every now and then, if you notice the end of the skewer or the whatever little tool you're using, or the stupid E6000 gets a bit crusty up top, Just take an extra paper towel and wipe it off. Back to fast forward. Now on the last two, I like to give the up here a good wipe down. Maybe kind of straighten it out so it's not like and the glue isn't trying to pop out of this. Then on the final two here. And as an alternative, this is just a, if you need more trays, this is just a candle lid. Alright, with that done, in this short amount of time, we got, what is it, like 30 bases or something done? 31 bases done. Because obviously the E6000 is a bit toxic, make sure you leave these in a nice open area next to a window. Or in the garage or something. And this is what they look like when they're done. I don't have these on. These are obviously not the ones we just did, because those are Kieran. And what it look like should look like when it's done. Now, these do take. E6000 does say on the package it does take 72 hours to dry, so be sure to keep that in mind. I guess there's pros and cons for this method. I think that should be the next thing to go on. Is the only one con I really foresee is the 3-day wait. E6000 does say on paper that it does take 72 hours. Wow, only one of these guys is kind of falling off. It does take 72 hours for it to cure properly. But it might cure sooner, but I'm the type of guy who likes it to let it go all the way. That's the only real con because you know, if you're trying to get something done fast, maybe you have a couple like onesies or twosies that you need to base up. Other methods might be faster. Actually, probably is faster. But the pros is, as you can see, we got a lot done for very cheap, very little working time, and one tube of this is like $8 maybe. And this will last forever. And the magnets themselves are still pretty cheap as is. I know that might not be the most highest quality neodymium magnets, but they'll do the trick. They will do the job, and they hold a lot better than these 10 mil ones. Will hold a lot better than the dinky. I don't know what size these are, but like, you know, stuff like this. They're very small, tiny ones. And also, I think the biggest pro, in my opinion, is just how little of the material it takes. Like, it barely takes any of the E6000 whenever I use green stuff. I just feel like I'm pissing away money. And if I did like a unit of 10 on green stuff, I'm wasting, I don't know, like a quarter. It's like I'm always wasting like a quarter of a package of green stuff just to magnetize 10 guys, when for very little less costs, a lot lesser costs towards, I could do a lot more with a lot less, or for a lot less time and for a lot less money. I'm still going to use green stuff again for the onesies and twosies, but this is, I feel very strongly that this is, E6000 is pretty much the best method for magnetizing your bases, and you could get a lot done. Anybody who sees this will also see that this is probably the best method as well. But either way, yeah, I feel this is very good. And if you're really that pressed to a time where you just want to start building, you could always put like the keep the minis themselves in little shot glasses like this while you're waiting for the 6000 to dry. And another thing you can do is you could just buy bases from model train companies in the same size as the Games Workshop bases. And if you're waiting to get in a set while you're ordering it, or I don't know, you're planning your weekend trip to GW, you could just have these on standby. But yeah, other than that, I think that is actually it for me. I hope you learned something from this. This is my first ever tutorial video. And I do have a lot more planned I will eventually get to. I think I have a couple cow ideas on the horizon, which you're going to see in the next couple weeks, followed by a lot of big brain Krieg ideas. Because Cadians naturally stink. With that said, everyone, like, comment, subscribe. I hope I did well. And I do have a community Discord I'm building. Link will be down below in the comments. And I do stream throughout the week some random mini painting, sometimes some cosplay streams. I've been trying to get back into video game stuff. I just haven't had a whole lot of time. Enough rambling. Hope this went well. And catch you all next time with some more towel hit bashing and little hacks and tips and tricks the ethereals don't want you knowing about. Alright guys, peace.